Okay, so recently I got a question on one of my videos about using the doubler with dual amps. And I went ahead and answered the question in the comments, but then later on I'm going through my head all the different permutations that may have made my response incorrect. So I thought it might be useful just to do a video and run through the different scenarios just to be clear on how it works. So let's go ahead and check out the preset I've got here. I'm actually using an older preset that I created a while back where I'm combining a Marshall Plexi with a Mesa Boogie Lone Star. And it's a great combination because you kind of get the grittiness of the Marshall and then the smoothness of the Lone Star, and they combine really well together. And I've got two scenes that I want to use here that are set up slightly different. This first scene is set up, I'm not splitting a stereo signal to the amps, and when I mix them back together, I'm not panning them left and right. So what that's doing is it's basically taking the two amps and it's summing them down the middle into one amp. And that sounds like this. The other preset, I am doing a stereo split, and on the mixer, I'm panning them hard left and hard right. Now, you don't have to go either down the middle or hard left, hard right. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll go part way, either like 25 or 15 or something like that in terms of the pan level. But for this exercise, we're going to pan it all the way so we can hear the difference. So that sounds like this. So again, down the middle, split. So if we turn on the doubler for this one, you get much more of a noticeable effect because the doubler is sending one signal into one amp, one signal into the other, and they're staying hard left and right. They're not being recombined at the end. So if we go back to the one where the amps are being summed down the middle, if we use a doubler on the back end, that works out fine. That's because we've got this summed signal of the two amps, but then it's hitting the doubler and the doubler splitting it out stereo. Now, if we switch over to the split, and this is where we've got the amps pan hard left, hard right, and we run them through the doubler after the amps, after they've been mixed back together, we're going to get an interesting thing here. The doubler is taking our left and right signal from the two amps and pushing them back together before it does its thing. So you're getting this, we're splitting out into two amps and then the doubler is forcing them back together before it does its double. So in general, what I would say is how you want to use the doubler with the parallel amps depends on how you're summing the amps together. So if you're taking the two amps and you're combining them down the middle, then put the doubler after the amps. If you're splitting the two amps left and right, put the doubler before. And make sure you've got your splitter set to the stereo setting set to split, and make sure you've got your mixer doing some amount of panning left and right on the back end. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. So general rule is if you're combining the amps into one signal, put the doubler after. If you want to pan the amps hard left, hard right, put the doubler before. Make sure you set up your splitter and your mixer correctly so you don't lose that stereo signal. Feel free to add any other questions you might have about this in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. And as always, thanks for watching.